You know, the 1960s pickup truck era has come and gone, right? And there is a lot of pickup trucks back then that really changed how people look towards the pickup truck segment back in those times. Now, I have a list of trucks here that I think that are on the top of the list back in the 1960s. So for those of you who have already have your pick, let me know in the comments. So let's have a discussion here. Which one of these trucks that I'm going to show you in the video is one of your personal favorites? And does it bring back memories for you? So let's get into the video. So, there's five major trucks here, I think, that really captured the market back in the 1960s. You have the Chevrolet CK series. The second gen is what they call it, from 1967 up to 1972, of course. Now, affectionately known as the Action Line is what they said. The second generation Chevy CK completely redefined the pickup truck market. Now, Chevrolet introduced a coil spring rear suspension that provided a surprisingly smooth car-like ride. With its legendary body lines, available pickup with the V8 engines and the luxury-focused trims like the Cayenne and the CST Custom Sport truck. That added extra chrome, of course, and upgraded interiors. It appealed to a much broader consumer base as well. And today, it is arguably the most popular 1960s truck for collectors and hot rodders. So, and oh, by the way, hit the like for this video. Help the YouTube algorithm get this video out to more classic truck owners or people that like just the content on this type of subject here. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button as well. That way you can be updated on the next video that I promote here. So, and it'll help the channel as well grow. So, all right, the 1967 Chevrolet C10. It was one of those trucks that I think made the list for sure. And now coming in at the second spot here would be the Ford F-Series 4th and 5th gen. Now, I'm not ranking these trucks by 1st to 5th, of course. Just going to show you as they come out here onto the video here. So number 2 on my list is the Ford F-Series. Was already a dominant force, of course, but 1960s brought massive mechanical innovations. In 1965, Ford introduced its revolutionary twin I-beam independent front suspension, famously marketed with the slogan, drives like a car, works like a truck, is what they were saying back in those days. The 5th generation, the 1967 to 1972, widened the truck stance, added more aggressive styling, and introduced higher end trim levels like the Ranger. These trucks are prized today for their rugged, all steel ability and the quality and the classic boxy design. And oh, by the way, as we go along here in this video, if you have any comments, fill them up, because I am curious on how many of you folks really like this type of concepts. And if you really like the classic trucks, I'll do the 60 ones here. I'll maybe move into the next one, the next video in the 70s and 80s, and we'll do maybe a little series here. So now, number 3 on my list is the Chevrolet El Camino. Now, relaunched in 1964 on the mid-sized Chevrolet platform, the Chevelle platform, the El Camino successfully rode the line between muscle car and pickup truck. It offered a car-like handling and a potent V8 engines, of course, accumulating a high-performance SS Supersport variants. It became a cultural icon in the performance-driven 60s for offering the best of both worlds to a younger generation of buyers as well. And we also have the Ford Ranchero next on the list. While the Ranchero debuted in 1957, it evolved significantly throughout the 1960s, built on the car platforms like the Falcon and later the Fairlane and Torino. It completely redirected the El Camino, of course. It offered a sizable bed and hauling cargo alongside genuine car comfort, making it a highly practical alternative to a traditional half-ton truck. Number 5, we have the Dodge trucks in the 1960s. You had the Dodge DW series. It premiered in 1965 and went up to 1971. Now, these trucks were known for their rugged, independently and distinct sweet line bed design, powered by a legendary slant six engines or the potent V8 options. They were tough, no nonsense workhorses that helped cement Dodge's reputation for durability. So, as I go through the video here and the images, um, let's go over some of the little more details here. Now, in 1965, the Dodge D100, custom sport edition, when they came out, offered consideration the original muscle truck. The Dodge D100 Custom Sport Special holds the crown, I think, for the highest valuations among the 1960s trucks. When equipped with the massive 365 horsepower, 426 cubic inch wedge V8, these trucks are incredibly rare. Excellent condition models easily reach into the $50,000 range if you're going to buy one today, with pristine examples fetching much more at auction. So, yeah, these ones were they were something else, I think. So, now let's get to the value of, as I'm going through the video, I'm talking about the value of these trucks, what they are right today, roughly, and at an auction price, maybe a little more. Okay, so now the 1967 to the 72 Chevrolet C10 and the K10, the Chevy Action Line trucks are the kings of popularity and steady value growth. While a standard C10 is highly collectible, the four-wheel drive K10 models with factory V8s like the 350 cubic inch hold the highest premiums. A 1971 K10 flatbed 4x4 is in excellent condition, averages anywhere around $35,000. But perfectly restored or high-end, rest mod versions routinely cross the six-figure mark at auctions like Barrett Jackson. So remember that, folks. You pay big money for those right now. So, number three for the value. Now we have the 1967 to the 1972 Ford F100s. Now, Ford's fifth generation F Series is right behind Chevy. It trims up collectors' demand. The most valuable factory configurations are the highly optioned Ranger XLT trims equipped with four-wheel drive. In excellent condition, these trucks from the 1971 F100 Ranger XLT 4x4 averages just under 30,000. Though like the C10, custom builds pushing the ceiling way higher. So next on the list for value here, if you're going to be buying one of these trucks, is, how can I say this? What drives the pricing is what I'm trying to say. Well, the classic truck market operates a very specific set of preferences that dictate which trucks skyrocket in value and which remain affordable bargains. You got body style and length. So you got smoother side beds, known as the fleet side Chevy, stylish Ford, and the sweep line Dodge are overwhelmingly preferred over the older fender flared step side beds. Now, it has a 6 to 13% depending on the brand, of course, but additionally, short bed trucks are significantly more valuable than long beds due to their supportier proportions and better handling dynamics. Powertrains and drivetrains, while they came with the factory V8s, command, much of the major premiums over the inline sixes, of course, but furthermore, factory four-wheel drive models from the 60s are rare and highly prized for their rugged authenticity, consistently outpricing, were the two-wheel drive counterparts. Now you had your luxury trims. Now this was the trucks that had higher end trim packages. You had the Chevy Cayenne, the Ford Ranger XLT, the Dodge Adventurer, which includes features like carpeting, wood grain trim, and air conditioning are almost more desirable. Now you had the restore mode factor here. Now, unlikely now, when it comes to the classics and matching number muscle cars, classic trucks often become more valuable when modified for some reason. But here's why: buyers want the vintage 60s, paired with the modern drivability. The fuel injected LS engine swaps, upgraded suspension, and modern, disc brakes often drive auction prices well past the $100,000 mark. And as we go along with the details here, you know, there's a lot of people that like, to buy a long bed, buy two-wheel drive, factory 4x4s carry a huge premium. Buying an inline six, everyone wants the V8. So, however, the '60s inline six engines were notoriously reliable, easy to work on, and leave plenty of room in the engine bay if you decide to V8 swap it out, right? So, now going over some of the other things I like to point out here on this video, while prices for the Chevy C10s have skyrocketed over the years, two-wheel drive Ford F-Series trucks have remained relatively accessible. Now, the Ford 1961 to the 66 versions and the fifth 1967 to 1972 generations are fantastic starting points. Now, starting in 1965, Ford introduced the twin I-beam front suspension, which drastically improved ride quality and makes these trucks surprisingly comfortable for daily driving today. Furthermore, the aftermarket support for Ford is massive. You can buy almost every piece of sheet metal, exterior trim, and mechanical compound brand new from the production catalogs today. So, which is kind of nice for these Fords. Now, in 1962 to 72 Chevrolet C20, the GMC 2500 long beds, if you absolutely must have the iconic styling of the '60s Chevy, but are not on a budget, skip the short bed C10s and look for the long bed C10 or a heavier duty C20, the 3/4 ton, or the C30, the 1 ton, because these collector items overwhelmingly prefer half ton short beds. These heavier, longer trucks are more often behind in the market. In 1967 to 1968, the C30 step side, for instance, can often be found for less than half the price of a comparable C10. The beauty of this route is that the aftermarket for the CK series is arguably the largest in the classic car world. So you got engine swaps that you can do. You've got the disc brakes conversions and suspension upgrades are basically bolt on affairs. So again, as we're going along in this video, which one are you liking so far? Let me know. Dodge is the ultimate underdog of the classic truck world because they don't have the massive cult following of the Ford and the Chevy. Now, the 1961 to 1971 Dodge D100s and the D200 swept lines, their prices are generally much lower. Now, the Dodge D series is fantastic, though, rugged, projected vehicle is what I say to people. If you find one equipped with the Chrysler's famous 222 cubic inch slant six engine, you are getting one of the most durable and reliable engines ever built. Perfect for a daily driver as well. Now, as we move along here into the video, we also know that the Dodge, you know, just loves most owners love swapping out the engines as well. So now, as we finish up the video here, let me know so far what you're thinking on your favorite classic truck from back in the '60s, because there was quite a little bit of a redefinement back then as well. So now, because if you want to build a classic 1960s pickup right now, the market is completely against you for sure. Short bed C10s and factory 4x4s are pulling Ferrari prices at auction. I'm just going to be upfront with that. But if you know where to compromise, there is a backdoor into this market. So prices are insane. I'm going to be honest. You know, demand for these short beds and V8s are through the roof. So now I'm going to be, if you were to go to a Barrett Jackson auction right now and look at any of these trucks that are completely redone, recustomized, you're going to pay big money. Now, what do you think of the '60s era in the pickup trucks? Were you a big fan? Or did you like the 1970s? Now, if you like this content, I'm going to do a little series here If I get enough likes on the video, I'll move on to the 70s era, and then I'll go to the 80s and 90s, and we'll bring it up to present day. Just to have a conversation here on the channel, because anybody can make truck videos on the newest news and the latest trends, and it's oversaturated, I find, on YouTube. But let's just do some videos here going forward, if you're liking it, and have a conversation and make it more interesting for the viewers here on the channel. So, like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye for now.